It's true what they say. The grass is always greener. And you don't really know what it is you have until it's gone. Gone. Gone.
At last, GameStop is dead. Long live GameStop.
And such an end of an era. Now, I don't know if Bell Gardens has a GameStop still. I just know that the ones that I saw, I checked the other one. There was another one by a Target, and that's gone too. A lot of stores have closed down. They say 400, but that's a general list. If you find the list online, there. I mean, just look around. Just take a look in your area. See what GameStops are closed. Will I miss GameStop? Kind of. We know all the horror stories, from retailer stories up until just anybody having a bad experience. Even the stupid memberships. I hated those cards. I didn't mind Game Informer. I still have my magazines, and I think they took a long hiatus and then came right back. But it didn't matter. GameStop was gone, and they couldn't cash in on the Switch 2 craze. Nope, sure couldn't. Not even on the Steam Deck craze or ROG Ally, right? Asus Ally, whatever those new handhelds are. So it's a shame.
It's a shame, says Conker. What to do? What to do?
But Conker's not sad. He's just dead. I will say this is like gamer forced loneliness. Now, I will show you a couple of X posts in a moment, but I'll say that it's a bit bleak and it's a bit sad. Not because it's not about not buying the Switch 2. It's just the way Nintendo is doing things now. It's $80 per game, and they're starting a trend of $80 games. And I think Borderlands 4 is $80. And then what is it? What's his face? Randy Pitchford was like calling out fans, and the fans snapped back like, what are you trying to do, Randy? So that happened. So you're just we're all doubting ourselves and what is it that it means to be a gamer anymore. When I was a kid, we had the Atari 2600, we had Straw Hat Pizza, Round Table Pizza, Chuck E. Cheese. You had Skee Ball, you had Spaceship Games, you had Star Wars Arcade, you had pretty soon Ninja Turtles was coming in. And then the NES would be on its way into the hearts and homes of every kid. Every 8-year-old, 7 or 8-year-old. But Atari was still the coolest thing ever. Atari 5200, Atari 7800. Now you go fast forward to now, and we're just like, we have so many consoles and so many games and so many, like, was it Retrocade? Was it Retro Arcade? And Arcade 1-Ups and so many handhelds and even Google Stadia, even Google tried to cash in. They failed miserably, but they tried their hand in it. What is it just to have games now? Because in my kid as a child, back in those days, you had to choose from board games and card games and Coleco Electronics and Mattel Electronics with those red LED displays and the LCD liquid quartz crystal display, right? Liquid crystal displays, quartz. And puzzles like Rubik's Cube, and then you had consoles. But there were not many choices. Video game was a thing that was like just barely discovered. Ralph Baer created Pong, right? And then you had Nolan Bushnell flip it to sell his Ataris. So now we have so many choices. GameStop is not the be-all, end-all. But people were out there. I think Vinny Vinesauce was talking about GameStop in his area. There were still GameStops. Now where I'm at, they're closing them all down. So the name of this video is True Gamer Loneliness, right? Gamers going their own way. If you're in my age group, maybe you're in your early 40s or late 30s, at least in your late 30s, you're starting to see that maybe it's not worth it. That what is the point? It's just the way Nintendo had put out this expensive system, the drop the price, bullying, just the pressure of having to buy a new system. When really, I mean, you could squeeze out a few more games of the Switch one. And unlike the Steam Deck, the Switch one's YouTube app and the eShop and all the other goodies, they're all going to get wiped, okay? They can wipe your YouTube app, so you can't use YouTube on the Switch 1 at some point. Now you have to be forced to use the Switch 2. And remember, every patch probably has to go through a legal team. So, I'll show you a few things from X that I thought was interesting. Here's where I say Mario has one world, Sonic has many. Now, I'm not too worried about Mario Kart World. Because the creator of Sonic said, unlike that other game, that other racing game, you have crossplay between different consoles and PC, so that's going to be something. So if you're on your Steam Deck, you can play against someone against a ROG Ally, or you can play against the PC, or you can play against Microsoft Xbox, or against PlayStation or Nintendo. You could do whatever you got to do, and I thought that was really, really cool. So, is there some more? We'll ignore that one there. Here's something unbelievable. Híjole. Shigeru Miyamoto is not in the credits for Mario Kart World, not even a special thanks. So, times have changed, haven't they? So, it's still there. I saw 2 copies when I went to Target. Have no ambition to buy it. Remember, Rareware did it first with Diddy Kong Racing, that whole open world concept. Brie Larson and Hideo, what's the world coming to? Here's some more Mario Kart trivia. Samantha Kelly, who was the most recent Princess Peach voice, she discovered her 18-year tenure was over when she discovered that Mario Kart World, World, it was released without her in it. So what had happened there? I guess they could have used archive voices, so she probably assumed that was going to happen, but she never heard from them. So what happened, right? And here, Nintendo, the Switch 2 controller still includes the same part causing drift in the older model. Nintendo is offering free replacements. And what did I say? I think I retweeted this saying that it's a new console and same old problems and more broken promises. That's what I retweeted. I tell you what, I will be buying Sonic Cross Worlds, Sonic Racing, and I'll also be picking up Shadow Labyrinth because I'll be playing a Pac-Man game in a moment. And also Metroid Prime 4. And when I saw this initially, I thought this would be the release, like Breath of the Wild, this would be the launch game, but obviously Mario Kart would do way better than Metroid. So this is more obscure. And we still don't know what's happening with this, but I'm not getting the Switch 2 version. And I'm not taking that path of I have to buy a new generation console and buy a whole bunch of more games. It felt repetitive. You know, I like a system that is future proof, that can upgrade better than the last year's model, right? I mean, they said the Dreamcast was future proof, but there was never an HDMI cable for the Dreamcast, now was there? Not really. So what do you do then? That's not future proof. So future proof is such a loose term that I don't really take seriously. We're going our own way. We're just trying to figure out what entertains us now, not, the latest game, the latest system. We could still get Sonic Cross Worlds for our old systems. As far as Donkey Kong goes, I like Donkey Kong 64. I like Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga more than Donkey Kong. So it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Splatoon a little bit, and Mario Odyssey, but it's not a big, I still haven't finished like collecting all the moons. I beat the game, but I haven't collected all the moons in Mario Odyssey. So it doesn't really matter to me. It's whatever it is. I can enjoy whatever I have now. And with that, I think you just don't feel like you're alone because everybody's showing off the new system. You got to go with your own pace. I think that's all I'm going to really say anymore on this topic. There'll be more things out there, but let's end it on showing you what I'm setting up here. Now, this is my, this is the latest. This is optional memory. This is memory A. I think this is for Alessandra, but yeah. So memory. I notice these characters: Alessandra, Daria, Bastiano, and Claudio. Right, Claudio, Bastiano, Daria is A, B, C, D, right? So this is her memory. This is an optional memory. This is like a optional quest. And see, you got some of these guys here. You got the Agile Guard, Crossbowman, and you follow the rule book over there. And anybody who tells me to clean up my place is going to get your comments deleted. No one's going to see your stupid shit. You understand? Did you hear that? Stop typing. You're going to get your comment deleted. Okay? I've been doing this for a very, very long time. So, yeah, if you have nothing to contribute to my games or the topic, fuck off. Fuck your mother. Fuck off. Bye-bye. And, yeah, these are her stats. So this is Alessandra's stats, and these are Daria's stats. And we haven't leveled up. We have to get to a level of 25. So I'm keeping track on my tablet what 25 is. Here's the Crossbowman. He can only climb up ladders, but the Agile Guard can outsmart. And I have to use a separate figurine because the figurines that I have were broken. So you see the figures down there. I got Ezio fixed, but the other one's still broken. And it was like that when I got here. And actually, I put Ezio. I've been organizing this very carefully, putting things, organizing the cards, the story cards, and all that. And in here, there's Ezio, one of the most important characters ever. And I had to make sure that hopefully he's still in one piece there. So there he is. He had to be glued on. You had to glue them on. I think what they should have done was fuck these indentation things, these things, because when you put them in, and the same thing with the Heroescape, but the Heroescape had more flexible figures, but these are more flexible, I think, because I think they're made in molds, right? They're not made by 3D printing. For some reason, the 3D printing is much more brittle. Okay. So when you're doing these molds, and you make them, right, they're easier. You could put them into like indent plastic, right? Just like anything. Just like if you look at the Mario and Luigi, right? They're in like these specific shapes, or any packaging, any like this one here, right? They're in specific packages, right? But when you pull them out, you risk breaking them. With the 3D prints, it's the same thing. So it would have been wise to put them in a little styrofoam box like the one I just made up right there. That styrofoam box. So with that, I'm going to play this game some more. There is a minion, and I will be playing more of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice. Probably the best campaign board game you'll ever be seeing. And now on to Pac-Man. Waka waka.